Okay, 1 second, Prabhu. Let me just make sure the live thing is going on. All
You
right,
do
one
whatever
second.
you do. I'm with you.
Okay.
This version is original, has not been edited.
Yeah, this is from prabhupadbooks.com. Alrighty, Prabhu, we can start now.
Okay.
So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we're going to be discussing Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja offering to His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada gave this Vyasa Puja offering in 1961. And we have Narayan Prabhu, who's going to be reading, and we're going to be having an Ishtagoshti and a discussion regarding this wonderful. What would you call this, Prabhu? It's Vyasa Puja offering, but what's the Sanskrit name for this?
Well, it's
What?
it's into several Vaishishtas, which I don't know what a Vaishishta is, but it's Vaishishta Stakam. I do not know what is a Vaishishta. Vaishishta, I've always wondered actually.
Shikshashtikam means some kind of instructions. Shikshashtika. Shiksha means spiritual instruction, right? Shiksha. Shikshashtikam or Shiksha.
Yeah,
Shiksha.
well, but it's based on Vaishishtas.
Yes.
I've never questioned it. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Anyways, we'll figure that out later. So, Prabhu, you can we can start reading this. Maybe you can read the first one and the second one. Let's cover 5 today, huh? How about 5?
As many as you like.
Okay. Go ahead, Prabhu.
You would like me to read or you're going to read?
Go ahead. You read, Prabhu.
Okay. First Vasistha. On that day, in pain of separation, O Lord, I was grief-stricken, unable to tolerate being apart from my spiritual master. Second, 2. On today's auspicious occasion, to offer you worship, I have come with this offering, remembering your lotus feet. And then Mahaprabhu's principal conclusion is that renunciation is prime. Not only that, but it is to be distributed to everyone. So how far do you want me to read?
Let's read the up till 5, then we'll have a discussion from 1 to 5.
The neophytes have no ability to make any solution, but you are a Mahabhagavata, and you have given us direction. Bewildered by ignorance, what kind of renouncers can they be? They are simply false renouncers, giving up externally.
Hare Krishna. Wow. Such a powerful way to start. On that day, in pain of separation, O my Lord, I was grief stricken, unable to tolerate being apart from my spiritual master. The first one.
Yes, from this and other writing, we can understand that Srila Prabhupada had observed Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's initiates, if not disciples, at least initiates, and they were busy learning the format that he was teaching. His skills were mathematical, philosophical, and extremely rigid in many sense. So they copied his style and his a way of delivering Shastra and made it their own, but didn't bother to observe him. What was he doing and why was he doing it? They did not understand what Srila Prabhupada says in the fourth line, which is, but you are Mahabhagavata and you have given us direction. Now, what does that mean, given us direction? If you're standing on a street corner and someone says, which way is J Street, you can point and say, in that direction. But that's not what's meant here, although that is largely the way Prabhupada's spiritual master's disciples took it. Prabhupada's godbrothers took it. When they took direction, meaning, what do I do to be able to imitate my guru? This perhaps sounds a bit familiar to all of us.
Right, it does.
Now that we are stuck in the same spot as Srila Prabhupada was in 1961.
Indeed.
But he is saying that the neophytes have no ability to make any solution. So what is the solution? Bhaktisiddhanta, he refers to Bhaktisiddhanta. Oops, it cut out.
Who cut out?
He refers to Bhaktisiddhanta that you have given us direction.
Right.
Now, direction means where? To the ordinary human being, direction is horizontal. Aniyabalasha Beach. Go north, go south, go east, go somewhere else.
Right.
But the real direction is the Bhakti Lata Beach, vertical direction. The direction of how to transcend this material world, how to transcend the process of birth and death, so that not only you can experience that direction that he refers to, but you can share that direction with others.
Right.
He says that. Renunciation is prime. Well, renunciation, everyone thinks, if I think I am my body, if I assume, if I'm under the horrific illusion that I am my body, then what is renunciation? It means simplifying my eating, no more sex life, all of the things pertaining to the body.
Right.
So renunciation for the ordinary man means giving up all the things he likes to do. Who is he? His body. Everything his body likes to do. Everything that he wants to do to gratify his senses, that's what he is told to give up. But that is not what Prabhupada is saying about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Mahaprabhu's principal conclusion is that renunciation is prime. Yes. Not only that, but it is distributed to everyone. It is to be distributed to everyone. So when he's talking about renunciation, he's talking about the ability to speak from the platform of spirit soul, not the body. The body is the hindrance to our understanding anything. Everybody says, I want to become a devotee, and then when I die, I want to go back to Godhead. I want to lie on my deathbed, and then Krishna, the Narayan Dutas will come and take me back to Godhead. Everyone is thinking like that. And admittedly, Srila Prabhupada put that out as tempting bait, a temptation for all of us, so that we would be willing to engage our body consciousness in a sense of salvation that comes from practicing Krishna consciousness. But that's not what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was talking about. And this is what, on this particular day, Srila Prabhupada says, I was grief-stricken. unable to tolerate being apart from my spiritual master. Why not? Can't you eat? Can't you do this? Can't you do that? Can't you have a cup of chai? What is it that keeps you from, why are you grief-stricken on this day? He's grief-stricken because he could see what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was conveying to him and his other godbrothers, disciples. And he can see now that that did not come about in the way that Prabhupada, by listening, assumed it would, just as I, by listening to Prabhupada, I assumed the outcome would be there. I never dreamed that people who are Kanista Adhikari and Madhyama Adhikari, no, just Kanista Adhikari or less, I never dreamed that they would then declare themselves to be gurus and pounce on Srila Prabhupada's temples, just the way Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples pounced on the Gaudiya Math temples, just so that they would have a place, a headquarters, where they could be in charge and make money by having many disciples. That was not expected by Prabhupada. Of course, Prabhupada, as well as myself, in a totally junior and unspeakably lesser platform, I saw and I looked at my godbrothers saying, well, they're heading out. Maybe they're going to do something. Maybe it's going to occur. Maybe they're going to make this Krishna consciousness what it is meant to be. And then I imagined what Srila Prabhupada was doing. I don't think he was lambasting or criticizing his godbrothers. He was waiting to see them come to fruition, to fructify, to come to the platform of actual preaching mode. And what is the actual preaching mode? Ego-less, no ego. You have to give up the sense of the asat, ego, or unreal ego, which means material consciousness. The opportunity of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is to gradually make a transformation from the material mentality and gradually move towards the spiritual mentality, meaning Sat. That's who I am. Aham Brahmasmi. I don't have a soul. I am the soul. Sat. I am Sat. Sat Chidananda. Well, what do I know about Chit knowledge? What do I know about bliss? One little thing I could try to meditate. Sat. I am not this body, because the body is clearly and without mistake Asat. There's nothing about the body which is eternal. That's why it's so ridiculous that after 40 or 50 years, devotees will sit around chanting away, hoping for salvation, when it is not their job to get salvation. It is their job to transform people by offering them and delivering to them salvation. Not that they will become saved, the fools. No, not saved, but to save every living being. Every human, no. Every jiva, plant, insect, germ. You want to have a big temple, you already have one. It's called your body. Go into your body and recognize that there are billions of jivas there. Deliver them. Take them back to Godhead. Why are you selfishly thinking how I can enjoy the body that is being already enjoyed by insects and germs, bacteria?
Right.
How can I be enjoying my body when it's being overly enjoyed by so many living beings. No, better I should deliver those beings. That is the purpose of the pure devotee. One of the Goswamis had sores on his arm and parasites, worms of some sort, went inside so they could eat the decaying flesh or the pus or
Maggots.
whatever was there. What?
Yeah, maggots. It was maggots, I think.
Maggots, yeah. They went in there and sometimes the maggot would fall out.
Yes.
And that Goswami would reach down, pick up the maggot and put it back, not being willing to see him starve.
Right.
That was his relationship to his material body. And we're talking about a person who was an actual pure devotee of the Lord, not a material guy who rushes off to the doctor to see how he can become cured of the maggotitis that is on his arm, how he can kill the maggots and become healthy so I'll live to a very old age and at that point die gloriously in my body, thinking of myself as my body, surrounded by the products of my body, namely children, wife and wives, children, godbrothers, and children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, how I will live gloriously leaving my body, surrounded by these celebrating people, celebrating in that they are weeping for me, loving me, wanting me not to die. Well, my brother recently left his body, Bhaktivedanta Govinda Goswami, in India. He left his body in Punjabi Bad Temple. And everybody was calling, oh, Narayan, you must be stricken with grief how your brother has left his body. And I said, he was born with jaundice, which left him in a saffron-colored body. He had to have a blood transfusion to live a normal life. He grew up completely reflective internally. He tried to make a living, tried to be a householder, had a child, but then became renounced and then took sannyas. And in that period of time, he preached so nicely about Srila Prabhupada. He was not one of the gurus. He did not want to become a guru. He wanted everyone to accept Prabhupada. But he was not the Ritvik idea of accepting Prabhupada. He let his followers learn about Prabhupada from him, then take initiation from Gopal Krishna or other gurus, so-called gurus. He did not do that to disrespect Prabhupada. He did that because he wanted to continue to be in the temple and preach about Prabhupada and glorify Prabhupada. And at his memorial service, I heard so many people were enthusiastically remembering him. And things they said about him was all about how he made it possible for them to understand Srila Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
So when they said, oh, you must be in grief that your brother has died during Kartik before Holi and to put in samadhi like other sannyasis, you must be so much in grief. I say, in grief? Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? Are you mad? I'm not in grief. I rejoice. Look what he has done with his life. What is there to grieve? That he has left his body? So what?
Right.
We will all leave the body. The germs in your body are leaving their bodies before they leave your body. There is your body and they die and they rot away inside your body. What is so great about, so grief-stricken about leaving your body? No, anyone who has taken birth, guaranteed. You know, if one is one sort of those naked sages, such as the one that came to see the king who was grieving over his dead son, and he would say, why are you grieving? Why needed a son to take over the kingdom? Chitraketu, right? Why are you grieving? And then the son came back to life. And he cursed his father, saying, how dare you bring me back to life? I was enjoying having left my body. What have you done to me? So that's my brother. But Srila Prabhupada was teaching us to leave our body greatly. But before leaving our body, bring everyone back to Godhead before we leave our body. Not through our body, but by showing them renunciation. The renunciation that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati talks about here. He writes in the third verse of the first Vaishistya, Mahaprabhu's principal conclusion is that renunciation is pride. Not only that, but it is to be distributed to everyone. Well, start with the germs in your body. Then start with the cat and the dog. Start with your wife and children. Start with your neighbor. Start with walk into the town. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, wherever you go, whatever you say, simply speak of Krishna. Why? Because if you do not speak of Krishna, how will they hear of Krishna? Do I want salvation? Really, why do I need salvation? Anyone who distributes the holy name of Krishna is already saved to the maximum degree.
Right.
And that is what our purpose is. But to be able to preach, we have to follow again that neophytes have no ability to make any solution. But you are a Mahabhagavat, and you have given us direction. So what is the double entendre here? When you are a Mahabhagavat, and you have given us direction, only the Mahabhagavat can give us direction. Why? Because only the Mahabhagavat is free from the, shall I say, I cannot even use this word in connection with the Mahabhagavat, free from any sense of being the body. Of course, he cannot, he is beyond anything we can imagine. It is we embodied souls who are meant to become his disciples. And this cannot be done as Ronald Prabhu has put out so nicely by reading the Upanishad's fifth verse, that the Kanistha, oh, he can take on, he can initiate. The Madhyamadikari, oh, he can initiate. But no one can advance under their insufficient guidance. Why? Prabhupada makes it clear. Because they're on the same platform as he is.
Exactly.
If he's on the same platform, you can give him some God-brotherly cheer. But can you actually deliver him from birth and death? Well, you can try your level best. You can chant Hare Krishna with him. You can have kirtan. You can share prasadam. You can go into istagosti. But can you deliver him if you're a Kanistha Adhikari? How is that possible? Do you know why? How can you not deliver a man? You cannot even deliver yourself. If you cannot deliver yourself, who the H do you think you can deliver?
Actually,
you have to deliver yourself before you can be delivered. And how do you deliver yourself? Well, Prabhupada states here.
Yes.
You have no ability to make any solution. meaning
Yes,
they cannot deliver themselves or anybody else either. Is
yes.
that
Someone
straight?
was, some devotee
Anybody
was saying
else?
something. Yes.
Oh,
it was me.
let me
Hare
finish
Krishna.
the shloka, then yes. But you
Okay.
are Mahabhagavata and you have given us direction. That
Yes.
means the Mahabhagavat, Uttamatakari, Prabhupada's in the Nectar of Instruction, the Upadeshamrita, says 3 times very secretly in 3 different places in that verse.
Yes.
Therefore, accept an Uttama Adhikari, meaning
Yes.
Mahabhagavat is,
That is from the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, verse 5, the last 2 paragraphs. Go ahead. Some devotee wanted to make a question or comment.
Hare
yes.
Krishna.
Yes.
I'm Vishnu Teja from Oklahoma again. I was
Yes,
on like
Prabhu.
a week ago, I think, or
Yes.
something. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So, but do you think Vapuvadis go to Naraka? Like, would you like some people preach like that and some people don't? Like Madhu Pandit Prabhu. Do you know Madhu Pandit Prabhu, like from ISKCON
Yes.
Bangalore? Yeah, he doesn't like
He's
he
my
doesn't take
friend.
that. You know him?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, he doesn't take
I
that.
went to see him in 2016, and he treated me with extraordinary honor there in in Bangalore. Bangalore.
Okay. What is the
Bangalore.
question, Prabhu?
Oh,
Yes.
Well,
Bangalore. But what is the question?
do you think like the disciples of like bogus gurus go to hell? I mean, like I know that's like there, like to Naraka, but then like in the eyes of a pure devotee, like the whole material world is hell.
Well,
Do you
I
think
mean,
they
if
like?
you want to call the material world hell, but there are planets that are hell that are
Yeah,
worse than the world that we're in.
yeah,
And if you're a pure devotee, the heavenly planets are also hell. Why?
Yes.
Because you enjoy yourself like anything, and you don't want to leave, and you enjoy yourself using up all the good karma you got to get there. Then you come down to earth where you can get a job in Beverly Hills as a lawyer, thinking that you're doing great. But in the next life after that, you go to a lower birth. Yeah, so that's hell, but that's not the hell that is being discussed. But that's not what was said in the Upadeshamrita, because Ramachandra Singh was saying the Upadeshamrita says that the disciple is on the same level, therefore he cannot make much advancement under his insufficient guidance. So why do I become disciple simply to obtain insufficient guidance?
Yes.
Right?
Right. It's a very simple question. Very understanding.
But people being people, I mean, why do boys join the Boy Scouts? Except apparently to get molested by the Boy Scout leaders. But why do they join the Boy Scout gurus? Why do they join? Why do they become a Boy Scout? Because they want a senior man to look up to, and they want to adore that person and learn and model themselves after that person.
Right.
So if a person takes a ISKCON guru, he is doing so because he wants to model himself after that person. And he wants that person to offer him the path of spiritual life and the path of deliverance. Well, insofar as that guru can offer you deliverance, it's because he got it from Prabhupada. But can he deliver it the way Prabhupada delivered it? Actually, the embarrassing thing is that he can quote Prabhupada, but by quoting Prabhupada, he makes it less than Prabhupada himself. In a sense, you're better off listening to Prabhupada's lecture or reading Prabhupada's book, and then you will be delivered by Prabhupada. But if you are listening to someone quoting Prabhupada, it may make you feel good. It may make you feel sheltered and cozy and chummy and nestled up with someone and nicely fed. And all you have to do is give them your inheritance or go out and earn a lot of money in the street selling books. But what do you actually get? Do you get you become an Uttama Adhikari by following a Kanista Adhikari.
That's not
Or
possible.
even, yeah, well, isn't it? How
You
can you
cannot.
become something that your guru is not?
Right. That's the thing. I mean, it's common sense. If someone is drowning, you must know how to swim, first of all. Then you can save him. If you do not know how to swim, then how are you going to save him? You're going to die. He's going to die.
You'll hold on to him and he
Yeah.
will go down faster because of the heavy weight that you're offering on his shoulders.
Right. So,
Now, I'm not saying that the ISKCON gurus are not capable of giving neophytes elementary advancement
anyone can give
based
that.
on their own realization.
Right.
But what is their own realization? If they're Kanista Adhikari, it is Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not this body. I'm spirit soul. Follow the four regulated principles, or else. And then someday, when you leave your body, if you're lucky, you'll go back to Godhead. But what
Yes.
is the knowledge? Where's the pure directional knowledge that Prabhupada describes here?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Any other questions, Prabhu?
Well, did that answer the question that Prabhu had?
Oh well, no, I was just like, well, do you think like they go to hellish planets, like just for being
Who,
initiated by
the
ISKCON?
guru or the disciple?
The disciples.
Well, first of all, does the guru go? It depends on what he does.
Right.
Like Kirtanananda was a ISKCON guru. He
Mhm.
molested children. He had homosexual sex. He did all of these nonsense things. He arranged for a very nice devotee to be murdered, Sulochan, murdered for the simple reason that he questioned that the gurus were actually going to deliver him or anybody else. Kirtanananda, a lot of people. Another devotee, Doktorsky, wrote a book called Killing for Krishna about the same devotee who, Sulochan, who was killed on the orders of Kirtanananda. But who is Doktorsky? He was a very close disciple, a favorite disciple, perhaps the most outstanding disciple of Kirtanananda. And then now he writes a book called Killing for Krishna, in which he exposes his so-called guru as a murderer.
Do you know Mukunda Prabhu from England by any chance? He
Mukunda?
yeah, he's kind of uh I don't know what's the word, like, out there.
I think our discussion is more towards
Well,
this
that's
philosophy.
okay, but Mukunda, do you mean the Mukunda that joined Prabhupada in New York?
No, he's
No.
different. He was in ISKCON and he left, and he's kind of
Oh,
doing
yeah.
his own thing in
Yeah. I
England.
mean, that's the
I don't
thing.
know
No
who
one
that
can.
is.
There's a
I
devotee
do
in.
know the original Mukunda. He
No,
wrote
not him. Not
he
him.
No,
wrote a
because
It's
he
book
someone
was
else.
called
he made a
Miracle on
video about Henry
Second Avenue.
Doktorsky, and he was saying like his book is offensive against
Oh,
Sulochan
that
Prabhu.
Mukunda. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know him personally, but I've read his books.
Mm.
Well, he's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's a mixture.
yeah.
Heaven help anyone that becomes his disciple. But he's basically a rhythmic, I think. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I've been in the past, I was in a lot of communication with Mukunda.
Acha. Okay, so you do know him. Okay.
Because he
Yeah.
was saying
Okay.
Henry Doktorsky or Rishikesh, like his book is offensive against Sulochan Prabhu because it was saying like he started smoking because he was anxious or something, and then he was doing
How's
he
that
was breaking.
offensive against Sulochan?
Well, it was like
No.
saying he was breaking the regular principles,
Oh, he
and then
was. He
wow.
was not only smoking cigarettes, he was staying at my house just shortly before he was killed.
Oh,
He was staying there for weeks before he was killed.
yeah.
And
So
I had a house where no one knew where it was. But he then went out. This is the weakness of the flesh is not the fault of the disciple necessarily. He was very shaken. What is he supposed to be, a pure devotee? Smoking cigarettes. What about snorting cocaine? He was snorting cocaine. That's what killed him. I told him under no circumstance, leave my house because nobody knows where I live. And I know they're out looking for you. Don't go out. But he went and parked. He was parking in my driveway. He used to sleep in his van, big van in front, not a motor, a little van in front of in my driveway. Said, don't stay there. You're safe-ish. But he went to a friend, Mr. Agunia's place, who was a cocaine dealer and cocaine user, and he went there to get cocaine. And he was sitting in his van in the driver's seat when these brains were blown out. So, I mean, what is the harm of that? He was doing the right thing. He wrote the right book. But we have to tell the truth. We can't lie. So Mukunda is lying. If I say that he didn't smoke cigarettes or didn't take cocaine.
Oh, sorry. Just sorry.
I was shocked when I learned that he took cocaine. And I was also shocked when I learned that he got it from a former roommate of mine who didn't know he was a cocaine dealer. I knew him as an expert craftsman, as a cabinet maker and carpenter. Stragunia. But how would I know? So I don't take drugs. I didn't take drugs since I took initiation. So why would I criticize Sulochana? I understood what he was up against. And his book was called The Guru Business. And I helped pay for publishing it. At that time, I was making money.
Anyways.
Now we're getting back to the Vaishistas.
Yes.
So in that first place, you see, as the Vaishistas, first, second, third, fourth, however many there are, progress, Srila Prabhupada has something in mind, almost like sometimes when a dog is intent on attacking you, he will come up politely or more or less politely, but his intent is to attack. So Srila Prabhupada starts out more or less politely in those first 5 verses of the first Vaishnava.
Yes.
But his mode is to attack. And as the Falgun Krishna Panchami progresses, you will see how that attack takes place.
Indeed. So we're going to go slowly. We cannot cover too many things at once. I want to make a series of 5. We go 5, 5, 5. And as devotees have questions or they want a discussion, they can participate. So,
but the discussion, although there are many good questions and anyone is welcome to ask a question, during this particular Mela, it would be very nice if we ask questions only about the Vashista.
Yes, or you can share your realizations of how you are seeing this now or what you have experienced.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I'd like to. I've tried to do that myself in this presentation today, to try to separate between the Kanista Adhikari pretending to be a disciple and the Uttama Adhikari, who is actually the Mahabhagavat, who is actually the spiritual master, because he is a liberated soul with no material attachment or conception or thinking whatsoever. He is not considering any aspect of himself to be the body. And why not? He no longer needs to. When a person
Right.
wants to feed himself, his body is telling him, I'm hungry. He starts thinking, what shall I cook? What shall I make? And he's going to cook something and feed his body.
Right.
This is so normal that even a dog and a cat will do it also, except they don't bother cooking, usually. So, what is the point? The point is every body wants to be fed. Why? Because it has a need for chemicals, for nutrients, for fats, for proteins, for calcium. It is a need for these things. And so we construct that into something called recipes in order to make a presentation of the nutrients so that I, my family, and my children and grandchildren will all be very strong and healthy. But that is not the purpose of the pure devotee. The pure devotee in this case is Srila Prabhupada, and he's referring to the Mahabhagavat, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he is heading for the jugular. He is going in for the kill like a wolf sneaking up on a rabbit, because these godbrothers of his have failed, and he is going to bring it to their attention. Hare Krishna.
Jai. So I'd like to share some realizations that
Yeah.
I have had. So I want to make a make a point on number 4. The neophyte have no ability to make any solution. You are a Mahabhagavat and you have given us direction. So similarly, if you systematically study Srila Prabhupada's books, like the Nectar of Instruction, the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada is giving a practical solution that how you can apply this knowledge. And not only that, he also gave how this instruction should be applied. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said to his disciples, you guys form a GBC and continue preaching this Krishna consciousness. So that was him giving directions on how to preach. And his disciples, who were always constantly with him, apparently knew the philosophy, but somehow or other they neglected his direction. So Srila Prabhupada is going to build up to that that
Point.
statement.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada also
They
gave us
knew,
direction.
just like we do. We have a GBC, but it's not a GBC because they're not elected every 3 years. That's the secret of the GBC, model of the Indian railway system,
Right.
management structure. Part of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's love-hate relationship with the British Raj, using their toilets, using their limousines, using their GBC, meaning governing body of the commission of the Indian railway system, but then driving them out of India and supporting Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Right.
So yes, so yeah, you're right on the money. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so the neophytes have no ability to make a solution. So you see that right now in ISKCON, there is no solution amongst the GBC, amongst the gurus. So this first statement, the neophyte cannot make any solution. So how can they
actually, they have a solution. Their solution to their material problem is form a commune where they can eat and sleep and sometimes mate and defend comfortably, not like the karmis who have to slaughter animals or kill each other in wars, but they get into a little community and then they enjoy themselves because they want to enjoy their bodies. So they get a nice society with a bodily conditioned guru and bodily conditioned disciples, and they all sit there snuggling up like a bunch of Boy Scouts with a scout leader, having a good time and enjoying themselves.
Well, that's
But that's material enjoyment.
right. Yeah, that's not a solution. That's more of like a cheating process. It's
Well, from the
it's cheating.
spiritual point of view, it is big time cheating.
Yes, that's the Bhagavatam, Dharma Projata Kaita, which is
From,
cheating type of
from the
religion.
material platform, it's
Yeah.
clearly an improvement. To become a
And
Catholic means
yeah,
you're eating the blood of God, drinking the blood of God, and eating the flesh of God in the host, right? The bread and the wine. But when you're a devotee, it's a kinder, gentler Catholicism if you're with the gurus, because you're not killing anything. You're eating vegetarian and offering the host is offered to Krishna. Then you enjoy the meal, sadhana, vijajal, and all that, and then you enjoy yourself. Go ahead.
yeah. So I mean, as we go forward, people can share their realizations, like I'm sharing my realizations, and they can
Please.
also do that, please. So it would make it a more of a interesting and dynamic conversation.
Well, it's
And
just kind of. Oh, can I say something?
please go ahead. Yes.
Well, okay. So, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4:28, chapter 28, verse 31, purport, Srila Prabhupada says the disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj are all God brothers, and although there are some differences of opinion, and although we are not acting conjointly, every one of us is spreading this Krishna consciousness movement according to his own capacity and producing many disciples to spread it all over the world. So
Okay.
he's saying like he's talking about them like they're bona fide, but then in this like they don't have any ability. It's kind of confusing.
Well, that's an
Yeah.
interesting. Go
Yeah.
ahead,
Yeah.
Ramachandra Prabhu.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada, he has talked both ways. He has said that, among his god brothers, he was the one that followed the instructions, and he has also said that among his god brothers, no one is qualified to be a guru. So there's two contradictory statements here. How you gonna understand this part? So, Narayan Prabhu, my understanding is Srila Prabhupada was always respectful towards his god brothers, but he, whenever he met with them, he was always respectful, but he understood their limitation and their deficiencies. So he talked about it, but sometimes he talked about it very elaborately. Sometimes he praised them. So this is Srila Prabhupada's wonderful quality that, he saw the difference at the same time, I mean, how can you explain this?
Srila Prabhupada never for 1 minute approved of his godbrother's behavior.
Yes, yes. He talks
However,
about it.
when someone is preaching Krishna consciousness, even ineffectively, to others that are listening and getting imperfect instruction, it's better than no instruction at all. As Prabhupada
Indeed.
himself said, a blind uncle is better than no uncle.
Right.
So what is your blind uncle? Well, he can't do very much, can he? But he's better than no uncle.
Right.
So Prabhupada did not mean to praise them, nor did he mean to condemn them, although on occasions he did condemn them all, and he also condemned individuals,
Yes.
the same ones that he's praising. But this is not an inconsistency in Srila Prabhupada. It should be understood it suits his higher purpose. Why should
Exactly.
he establish himself as the egomaniac who's the only one anyone could go to? That's what Kirtanananda did. That's what all the other ISKCON gurus do. They are trying to make themselves exclusives so that others will come to them. Well, Prabhupada, by not being exclusive, he got more people coming to him than anyone in the modern age since Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He developed and is still developing so many disciples even though they are taking initiation from men that can only give insufficient guidance. Now, why do we care? If they join the movement, they chant Hare Krishna, they take prasadam, and they follow the regulative principles most of the time, then what's the problem? What's the harm? Well, the harm is they're not getting the payoff, which is self-realization, going back to Godhead. They're not getting the distinction. They're not getting the outcome. How did Prabhupada mention it? That Bhakti Siddhanta gave the conclusion, right?
Yes.
They're not getting was it the word he used? I can't read it anymore.
Oh, in the purport?
Yeah. No, the purport. Yes. So
Well, it was
he
just
was,
according to their own capacity.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that we should follow them. If you have the sun, why follow the moon?
Yeah. Yeah.
The sun can say nice things about the moon, but that doesn't mean you should choose the moon over the sun.
Right. Yeah, this is a wonderful way to look at it. Jai.
Go ahead, Ramachandra Prabhu.
No, this is a wonderful discussion. So we want to have more discussions like this, how open and like Vishnu Tejas Prabhu is quoting scripture and reading and
that's required.
Asking questions. Yeah, this is required so we can understand the philosophy properly and we can, explain it to others, also help others.
And that turns it from a dissertation on the shlokas, on the Vashistas. It turns it from a discussion, a presentation to an istagosti. Because istagosti means everyone, even not initiated, even 5-year-old boy can raise his hand and take part in the istagosti. And everyone, according to his own capacity, will speak and try to understand what the others are saying.
Yeah.
Well, does Vishnuteja Prabhu see that distinction?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, thank you.
Jai.
Yeah. And you can see it most clearly through Ramachandra Singh Prabhu in the 5th chapter of the Upadeshamrita. Prabhupada lays it out plain and simple, just like it could not be plainer and could not be more simple, and it could not be more ignored by the entire ISKCON hierarchy.
Yes.
Because what would they do? If they paid attention to it, they would not have their ISKCON hierarchy. It would be what Prabhupada wanted, a lower archy, not a hierarchy. He wanted the power of ISKCON to be in the individual devotees, not in the guru figure. But they must follow the Acharya, simply because the Acharya is the one who has the sense of direction.
Yes, we have talked about it. You have given us direction. That number 4.
Yes.
So that's the thing. I mean,
direction could mean two things. Direction could mean instruction, or direction could mean where to go. I am suspecting that Prabhupada means both, but primarily direction means where should I go next?
Right.
Simple as that. Not what should I, which way is the bus station? It's over there. That's a direction. No, not that sort of direction. Where should I go next to follow in your transcendental lotus footsteps?
Right.
How can I follow you? That's the direction of Bhaktisiddhanta. It is that the Prabhupada is grieving over.
Right.
So where do we go from here, Prabhuji?
So we have covered 5 verses. So I think we don't want to keep it too long. We just want to keep it short and concise. so we can continue again tomorrow, unless Vishnu Tejas Prabhu has any more questions. Prabhu, do you have any more questions or realizations you want to
Well,
share? What?
last time we were talking about like a formal initiation. Like, is it a requirement? Like, would you say like it is a requirement? Narayan Prabhu.
I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, I haven't been initiated, but
Uh-huh.
I, you associate with devotees who are like-minded, and you ask them questions and share your realizations, and then that is your initiation. You follow the regulated principles, chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds. That is, I mean, I haven't had any formal initiation, so
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
speaking from experience. And what I have done practically, none of these local ISKCON people who have been initiated can do. So what would you call? I mean,
Well, that's just
Right.
Prabhupada's mercy. But like, I
yeah,
saw like
that's
in one of the soulful japa modules, like Madhu Pandit Prabhu was saying like you can't advance beyond a certain point unless you take formal initiation. Like there's something about the ceremony. I don't know. It's like go to CC Madhya 22:115. Do you want me to just read it, or can
yes.
you pull
Yeah.
Please
ahead?
read it. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
it
That's
says
why. Yeah.
it says Guru Padashaya Diksha Guru Sevan Sadharma Shiksha Pricha Sadhu Marganugamana. On the path of regulative devotional service, one must observe the following items. 1. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master. 2. One must accept initiation from him. 3. One must serve him. 4. One must receive instructions from the spiritual master and make inquiries in order to learn devotional service.
That's what we're
5.
doing. We're doing
One must.
everything here.
I know,
What's
but
the?
like it says,
Well, he's
like
asking
one must
about
accept.
take the
So that is
initiation from him.
one must
What's what's the definition of initiation?
well,
Like
the
taking a live
Well,
ceremony.
person?
he's talking about Agnihotra. He's talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
fire sacrifice.
yeah.
Okay. Can I offer a comment, which I've offered before, but not in this association, by
yes.
Kundanath, who called me today on the phone. We had a wonderful conversation.
Oh,
He called me
Vaikuntanath.
from
I was thinking
Berkeley,
about him today. Yes,
San
Jai.
Francisco. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I was
If you
thinking about
have
him.
not read his
I've read his book.
book about Prabhupada, then you've missed the best book about Prabhupada.
Uh,
It's so wonderful. It sees
uh,
Prabhupada from the inside out, not from the
yes,
outside in.
right.
So what happens is that Vaikuntanath, and I've mentioned this to Ramachandra Prabhu many times, more than once I should say, and he said, Srila Prabhupada, this is back in the early 70s probably, yeah,
Distributing
early
millions of
70s,
books.
we're beginning to pump out books, truckloads of trainloads of Bhagavad Gitas, a million Gitas is quite a few Gitas. It said in one printing, it said, how it says to take initiation, we've taken initiation from you with a fire sacrifice and diksha, like that. Abhavitra, bhavitrava, whether purified or unpurified. You come there and you're accepted by the spiritual master on credit. He lets you, it's like buying a car on credit or buying a house on credit. You go into the spiritual master and said, I want to become your disciple. And the spiritual master looks at you and says, you're not qualified. He said, but I want to become qualified. Well, if you want to become qualified, then I will accept you. But I'm taking a risk. And in the writings of Vaishnava writings, I think of Thakur Bhaktivinoda, if a Vaishnava accepts a disciple, and if that disciple falls down, the person who gave him initiation has to go to all of his godbrothers, Dandavats, and lie on the ground weeping and begging them to forgive him for having initiated an unqualified person. That's a whole other discussion called contrarian, which I derived from Gorka Shodas Babaji. But in the context here, Vaikuntanath said, you're printing so many books. How can people become initiated by you? What is the answer? How can it be done? And Prabhupada said, if one devotee, one person buys one of our books, and he reads the book, begins to practice the four regulative principles, begins to offer his foodstuffs to Krishna, does everything according to what the book says to do. If he is able to follow the, well, shall we say, the direction, to quote again Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Krishna Pansri, the direction of that book, he said, that is initiation. He said, my touch is simply a formality. So this is the thing to understand. People that are materialistically inclined want physical initiation because they're in their physical body and they want something for that body to secure it for the hereafter. But there's no criticism in doing that. Just as Prabhupada said decent things about his godbrothers. But in this case here that we're talking, what you're talking, is it's not about saving your body or by the mentality that's in your body. Then the mind is in the body, it identifies with the body. Therefore, I, this person, Joe, Sam, Sarah, Bowser, Chit the monkey, who thinks he's his body because of the mind. But when the mind is separated from the body, comes out of the body and finds the conclusion, the direction, then he is actually on the path which will take him back to home, back to Godhead, with or without a fire sacrifice. So it's not the fire. I mean, anyone could light a fire and roast marshmallows on it, you know. What's the big difference? Or put bananas in it for that matter. What is the point of the fire? Well, the point of the fire is Agni, Hotra. It's a purifying ceremony, but the real purification comes from the spiritual master giving you, in the words of Prabhupada regarding his spiritual master, direction. Not direction how to go here or there. Direction meaning this is where Krishna lives. That is where you go. That's where you go. The jiva is being part of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna. You can go to your original abode. Oh, now, begin. So, what about Guru? Well, Prabhupada one time described Guru is anyone who describes Krishna. Oh, he said, he defined to me, and also somebody else too, maybe at the same time or maybe a different time. The Guru means heavy. Guru means heavy. And what does that mean? Heavy means heavier than me. Whoever is heavier than me is Guru, heavier in knowledge. So whoever is heavier in knowledge than me is Guru. So, I mean, you can apply that materially. Where's the bus station? I don't know. This man says, it's over there. So he's become my bus station guru. He is heavier than me in knowledge of the bus station. But in the meaning of guru, wherever you go, whomever you meet, simply speak of Krishna. If you are speaking about Krishna, then you're guru to whoever is hearing. You want to be guru? You want to get a big red chair? Don't bother with the chair. Just preach about Krishna wherever you go. Don't go into a store or go into a marketplace or go into a house and not speak about Krishna. And if it is not suitable to do it there, then leave the question around, the conversation around until they want to know about Krishna. But whatever you do, do not ignore Krishna in the conversation. That is the real guru. That's you. You're the guru. But as far as accepting a guru, Prabhupada said, if you follow everything and become a devotee, that is initiation. My touch is only the formality. Does that make sense?
But yeah, okay. Even though it's a formality, I think like it still should be done. Like okay. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 1, verse 207, it says, "Aji hoite duhar nam rupa shonatan, danya chara tomar danya fate mor nam." My dearest Sakar Malik, from this day your names will be changed to Srila Rupa and Srila Sanatan. Now please abandon your humility, for my heart is breaking to see you so humble. Actually, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's initiation of Dhabir Kas and Sakar Malik. They approached the Lord with all humility, and the Lord accepted them as old servants, as eternal servants, and he changed their names. It is to be understood from this that it is essential for a disciple to change his name after initiation. Shanka Chakradya Urdhva Punda Dharanadhyatma Lakshanam Tannama Karanam Chaiva Vaishnavatmam Ehochyate. After initiation, the disciple's names must be changed to indicate that he is a servant of Lord Vishnu. The disciple should also immediately begin marking his body with tilak, Urdhva Punda, especially his forehead. These are spiritual marks, symptoms of a perfect Vaishnava. This is a verse from the Padma Purana, Uttarakanda. A member of the Sahajya Sampradaya does not change his name. Therefore, he cannot be accepted as a Gaudiya Vaishnava. If a person does not change his name after initiation, it is to be understood that he will continue in his bodily conception of life.
Yes,
So,
that is a very important distinction. But again, we're talking just the way Prabhupada said nice things about his godbrothers and his disciples of the godbrothers. And also he's in this, but in this Astikam, he is condemning them for that very same act. So the way it can be, if you pardon my making a declarative sentence, as though I know the answer, but I've heard from Prabhupada so many aspects and so many times. It is speaking on different levels at the same time. We don't want people to become sahajyas. We don't want them to become book readers. We don't want them to become just, sit around the fireplace and read from the Bhagavad Gita people. We want them to become devotees and committed. The question is, are all people with initiated names actually devotees? And are all men that are not formally initiated but have given their life to serving Krishna, are they not devotees? So it is a general statement, just like in the Upadeshamrita, Prabhupada says, therefore, to only take initiation, diksha, from a Uttama Adhikari. But he hides it 3 times in language which is easy to be misunderstood by a willful person that wants to exploit this verse for his own purposes, particularly the part where he says the Kanishta and Madhya Madhikari can also accept disciples. I've had people come up to me saying, I can become guru because Prabhupada said so, right there. But no, they've ignored the main point. So my point in this case, the fine-tuning of this point in that verse that you read, it's exactly perfectly true. You cannot have a multitude of people not initiated, but anyone can be initiated by a priest acting on behalf of Prabhupada. In fact, if you start to think of it, from 1970-71 onward, practically 2/3 at least of Prabhupada's disciples were initiated by priests acting in Prabhupada's behalf who performed the sacred fire, the Agnihotra, on Prabhupada's behalf. Later on, shortly before Prabhupada entered Samadhi, these men were given the title Ritvik. Not that Ritvik is a political organization, but Ritvik means acting in behalf of. So yes, the Ritvik, if assuming that Madhupada is playing, well, a straight game, then at some point a person should take Diksha, not from Madhu Pandit, but from Prabhupada through Madhu Pandit or one of his associates. It doesn't have to be Madhu Pandit. It could be any well-situated Brahmin can offer Diksha as a Ritvik or representative of Prabhupada. Now, one of the biggest anti-Ritvik people in the universe, or I don't know the universe, I haven't seen the whole thing in the universe. One of the biggest haters of Ritvik was the Narayan Maharaj. He didn't like Ritviks. He said you have to have a guru. Okay, but what does he say in his book, which starts out with a title based on the offense against the lotus feet of a pure devotee, namely, my Shiksha Guru, my Priya Bandhu. Shiksha Guru has to be same as your Diksha Guru, which in the case of Keshava Maharaj may or may not have been that high up the scale because he was not in Uttama Adhikari to my best knowledge. Prabhupada loved him, but that did not mean that. But Keshava Maharaj gave Prabhupada sannyas. So, but he didn't do it personally. He used a Ritvik or representative, a priest, to do it. And who was the priest that gave Prabhupada sannyas? Narayan Maharaj.
Oh.
So Narayan Maharaj, with his infinite capacity for committing offenses, said, I took sannyas first, 7 years before your Guru Maharaj, meaning Prabhupada. I took sannyas, so said sannyas is the real initiation, that I am his senior godbrother. Can you imagine? And then he said, because I performed the sacrifice, I am actually the initiator of Prabhupada, not my Guru Keshava. Very offensive. And the title of the book, my Shiksha Guru, my Priya Bandhu, Shiksha Guru, is offensive because Arjuna himself is told by Krishna, now is the time for friendly talks to cease. Because you cannot be Priya Bandhu or best friend with your Guru. That is the greatest imaginable offense. So he calls Prabhupada Shiksha Guru, which is supposed to be equal to your own Guru, which in the case of Narayan Maharaj, Prabhupada was far more advanced than Keshava Maharaj. So he is claiming that Prabhupada is his friend, his buddy. My Shiksha Guru, he's my Shiksha Guru, my buddy. Prabhupada writes about the Shiksha Guru, he must be on the same level as the Diksha Guru. So nobody can become the Shiksha Guru of Srila Prabhupada unless he is an Uttama Adhikari who is capable of delivering the world. It simply cannot be done. So the ISKCON gurus like to state that they are Shiksha gurus of Prabhupada, acting under Prabhupada, but they're not, because they don't have Prabhupada's qualification. They're not equal in qualification. Oh, they could be Shiksha guru for each other, But that is known historically as the blind leading the blind. So ISKCON guru leading another ISKCON guru, one blind man could lead the other blind man. Why not? But you cannot say Shiksha Guru is representing Prabhupada. No, disciple of Prabhupada can represent Prabhupada. And then he can become a initiator in behalf of Prabhupada. If you want to use the accursed word Ritvik, go for it. Otherwise, just say, I am Prabhupada's disciple. You want to be Prabhupada's disciple. I will perform the Agnihotra. I will chant the mantras. You can put the banana in the fire. You will get the ashes on your forehead, charcoal on your forehead, and I will do that so that you will be initiated, not by me, not even slightly by me. Oh yeah, slightly by me, but not by me, by Prabhupada. When I say slightly by me, what happened is they said, well, Srila Prabhupada, for Ritviks, then when we perform the sacrifice, do we take on any karma of the disciple? And Prabhupada said, why not? You're doing the sacrifice. He said, but I thought we're doing this in behalf of you. He said, yes, but you are also taking part. Therefore, you also accept some karma. So the Ritvik also accepts some karma, but not to the degree that he will fall down, because a relative neophyte, compared to Prabhupada, obviously, can perform the shiksha, can perform the Ritvik initiation in behalf of Srila Prabhupada. But he is not able to take on the thing which these gurus forget, or perhaps don't care, they don't give a damn, is that they are taking on, like Jayapataka has 40,000 disciples or something like that. He's taking on the karma of every single one of them. Of course, some karma will be passed up to the Sampradaya, to Prabhupada. Some will be going to Lord Balaram and to Lord Nityananda, to Krishna. Some will. But the bulk of it, he takes on himself because he's not transparent by a medium. Because he is not transparent, his karma, you know that old saying, the buck stops here. Well, that means you don't go further than here. The buck stops here means if you're not a Nuta Madhikari and you're not performing a Ritvik initiation in behalf of Prabhupada, then the karma stops here. You get to keep it all.
Mm.
So this is why the ISKCON gurus are foolish. And they're not seeing the future in front of them. Can you imagine taking on the karma of so many people, and then, if you're a sannyasi, obviously, then going into samadhi, and what? Roasting in hell for all of the sins that you've taken on from 40,000 disciples? And poisoning your own guru to get to that position so you can take on their sins? Can you imagine anything more foolish or even idiotic in taking on the sins of 40,000 people after helping poison your guru so that you could, thinking that somehow it was glorious? That is not stupidity. That is lunacy, idiocy, complete fall down to the lowest level, and then called guru in exchange for your fall down. No, that cannot be done. And Prabhupada made it absolutely clear all over the place. So yes, Lord Chaitanya initiated the Malik as Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami. But we have to remember that Jiva Goswami was Jiva. I mean, Rupa Goswami was Rupa Manjari. one of the top manjaris, she only came down and took the birth as a Muslim in order to carry out the pastime. There was no karma involved there at all. But setting the example, Lord Chaitanya gave initiation there. So that will give you the clear understanding of how to perform initiation in this age. And it's not by taking on the karma of the disciple. Or you think, oh, I'm sitting there the way Prabhupada did. I am sprinkling ghee. I am sprinkling water. I am chanting on beads. That makes me a pure devotee. Actually, it makes you fool number one. Because you have no capacity to give up the karma. Look at how many ISKCON gurus performed initiations and later fell down. Why did they fall down? They took on karma. There was Rohini Kumar, who I forget who he became known as the guru. He was a wonderful, nice guru, ISKCON guru. He was so charming and so lovely and so nice. And he wasn't mean and bullying or anything. And everybody wanted to become initiated by him. So many people I know that were Guru Kulis became initiated by Rohini Kumar, who became a guru. He was a wonderful person. But he began to initiate mostly homosexuals. And then after some time, he became obsessed, maddened, and he fell down as a homosexual and joined a homosexual commune. And stayed there and got homosexual tattoos. And if he'd stayed a brahmachari or a sannyasi, he wouldn't have. But he took on their karma. And he did so lovingly. He did so willingly. And he did so foolishly. He was a very dear friend of mine. And when he fell down, I grieved with my whole heart. Even as a guru, he was so nice and kind and generous and sweet and attractive to homosexuals.
No.
So many homosexuals came. And when they didn't, they took on all their homosexual karma. So where's the benefit? Who benefits? Where's the benefit of the man who becomes a homosexual? He was, I think, sort of gay-ish back when he was a hippie. But he became a renunciate. He was a wonderful renunciate. I knew him from 1968 in New York City. He would cook kheer, sweet rice. He would take 4 gallons of milk and half a cup of rice, and he would stir it for 10 hours straight until it became sweet rice. It was the most amazing sweet rice human beings have ever tasted. On top of it, he had epilepsy. So what would happen, sometimes he would have epilepsy while he was stirring the khichdi for the Sunday feast. He made khichdi for every Sunday feast. And as he was stirring, if he had an epileptic fit, he told me in advance, Narayan, you come and you stir the khichdi when I'm having my epileptic fit so it doesn't burn. So he'd go off in the closet, thrashing around in his epileptic seizure, and I would be stirring the khichdi as his rhythmic disciple of khichdi. And I was stirring it for him. But that's how wonderful he was. And yet he fell down completely. It's like that song, gay song, homosexual song, YMCA. Anyhow, he became like that. And a follower, a complete devotee, not of Krishna. He gave up Krishna just to become a devotee of homosexuals. So why become an ISKCON guru, or why give Diksha as an ISKCON guru, or as yourself? You could be Joe Schmo and give initiation. Now you're the disciple of Joe Schmo. Go for it. Why do it to yourself? Why destroy yourself by taking on the karma of another equally fallen spirit soul? Or God knows, even more fallen spirit soul. Rohini Kumar was so salvation. He was so delivered by Prabhupada. But he took on so many people that were lower, so much lower than he was, that he fell down. So why do that? Look at all the gurus that fell down. What was his name? Was it Jaganigot? The guy that was in Canada, he was married to Lakshmi Modi. Jivan. He was in charge of the Gurukul lawsuit. But he gave initiation to so many people, he fell down. And other gurus that I knew well, they fell down. Why? They took on the karma. To take on the karma, you can do it as an uttamadhikari. If you're a pure devotee of the Lord, you can take on karma, all of it, and burn it up. Bhavitrava, bhavitra, bhavitrava. You may be somewhat purified by good karma or by yoga or something. Bhavitrava, or completely sinful. Whatever you are, you will become purified by the sacred fire. But to take on that person as your disciple, understand that he will drag you down to hell unless you can deliver him. But you think, oh, I'm a Diksha Guru. And just like Prabhupada was a Diksha Guru, his Guru is taking the souls back to Godhead. And Madhavacharya also, and it goes all the way up to Balaram. Yes, they're taking him back to Godhead. But first you have to be transparent by a medium. A conditioned soul cannot take anybody back to Godhead, nor can he bring a conditioned soul to his acharya, to Prabhupada or Bhaktisiddhanta. Why not? If he's a guru, he brings to the acharya. The acharya says, "Why did you bring him to me? What do you want? His karma?" So anyhow, that's all I have to say. But Vishnu Teja, Bhakti Vishnu Teju, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Does it distinguish why Lord Prabhupada can write about the absolute necessity of taking Diksha? First of all, it's not, the absolute necessity is taking Diksha in your heart. Look how many people joined and took Diksha from Prabhupada and then fell down and went away.
Oh, yeah. Fortunate.
So what's the good part? The good part is that they will get another chance in another lifetime, and the good part for them is that Prabhupada has to and did suffer by taking on their repeated sins, like Jesus. But that's not the point, to give your sins to the Guru the way people are supposed to give their sins to Jesus. No way, Jose. You don't give your sins to Jesus. Prabhupada said, 3 times you can be forgiven. The 4th time, no. He was talking about Jesus. And then I said, after I was in New Vrindavan in 1969, when he was talking about Jesus, that I contributed or chimed in or whatever. They said, sin again, forgive again. Sin again, forgive again. Or forgive again, sin again. Forgive again, sin again. And Prabhupada said, yes. That was the point. That how can you be repeatedly forgiven? You have to stop sinning. If you fall down, in one way or another, you can redeem yourself on the basis of your initiation. Because that's part of the Bhavitra Bhavitrava. purified or unpurified. You said you want to become a pure devotee, then I will initiate you. If you have some difficulty, meaning you fall down here and there, I will deliver you still, birth after birth, until you go back to Godhead. That Prabhupada made clear. But we're not Uttamadikaris. Therefore, we should stick to acknowledging that Prabhupada is the Uttamadikari. And he alone, will deliver all the fallen conditioned souls for the next 10,000 years. And I do not mean just humans, but insects, germs, dogs, cats, monkeys, rabbits, alligators, lizards, fish. They will all become delivered in this golden age of Kali if we chant in behalf of Prabhupada, not foolishly and with idiocy chant in our own behalf as so-called bona fide, unbona fide, diksha gurus. If we do that, we can expect to go to hell. Instead of our disciples, so-called disciples, going to hell, we'll go to hell for them. Welcome to hell, Mr. Diksha ISKCON Guru. You take initiation, you get all the benefits. You get to secretly have sex with the women sometimes, with the kids. Oh, yeah? Okay, and then you die. Where will you go? Krishna Loka? For taking on the sins of 10,000 sinful men, you're going to go to Krishna Loka? And you could not rid yourself of those sins? No, you will go where they would have gone. Not just one, but all of them at once. When you die, all of them at once, sins will go with you, on you, in you, throughout you, and you will then take a birth to suffer for all of their sins. Haribol, Guruji. I hope you're going to have fun. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Does anyone else want to make a comment?
Is Dr. Ronald still on?
His name is Ramachandra Prabhu.
Oh, Ramachandra Prabhu.
Doesn't it sound better than Ronald's a beautiful name, but doesn't Ronald compare Ronald to Ramachandra, which is more mellifluous,
Yeah.
which sounds better
You know,
in the
like
ear and the speech.
the other Ramachandra Prabhu, like he's he was from the Bhaktivedanta Lives in Sound Society. Like they were in like Montreal, and then they went to Spain. And you know Purjit, like you know them, about them.
No, who are they?
Well, okay, so I think they've been around for a while, but they're like Ritviks. And Purjit, he took initiation from Kapindra Maharaj. He was like one of the first people to start.
Oh, Kapindra, yes.
And then he started he became a Ritvik, Purjit. He started acting as a Ritvik himself. And he initiated like 2 or 3 people from like Slovakia, and then Ramachandra Prabhu, and then they were preaching. And then some one Jagannath Prabhu, and he has like a tattoo shop in Spain, and then they went there and they were just preaching there. And then like he started changing the books, like he started editing Prabhupada's books and distributing them, and then that became a whole big thing. And then he Jagannath Prabhu caught him watching pornography, and then they kicked him out, and now he's in like London preaching. So
What's his name?
Purjit.
Purjit.
Yeah, Purjit Prabhu.
Yeah, I think I know Purjit. I forget how. Purjit. Well, you see, that's a mistake. And so, unfortunately, he probably tried to act like Guru to his Ritvik disciples, right?
Probably, yeah. He's the only one that gives class there. He doesn't let anybody else give class.
Well, there you go. Why doesn't he tell all of the people he initiated as Ritvik initiation to go and initiate others for their initiation. And they can give class.
Mm.
I don't remember. I have a very bad memory for names. I'm very dyslexic.
I mean, they're pretty like they're pretty irrelevant, but like I don't know, I know them.
Yeah. So where's your headquarters?
Me, I still live with my parents. I'm 18.
Really?
Yeah, I live in
But
Oklahoma.
you're brilliantly intelligent.
I've, I don't know.
I have to ask you to please, if you can, try to forgive me.
Oh, what you didn't do anything? What for?
I
What?
talked a lot.
Oh, it's fine. It was nice to hear. Just to ghosty.
We're in the Distagosti, but I talked a lot because what I said was straight and to the point, which you can do in a Distagosti, but also others get to talk as well.
Mm.
So it's a little hard to say what we're doing here. It's a complete Distagosti, partial Distagosti, commentary by Nara, or what? So you're living with your parents where?
Oh, Edmond, Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So that's wonderful. But you can see how the horrific initiation, nobody suffers from it if Prabhupada becomes the guru.
Mm. Yeah.
And but don't initiate an insincere person that's horrific, or Prabhupada will have to suffer.
Mm.
Only initiate people whose heartfelt genuineness. By the way, I like the way you read. It's very, very nice.
Oh, well, it's Prabhupada's words.
Yeah. So your parents are, and were you born in Oklahoma or in India?
I was born in Oklahoma. I mean, my parents wanted to be born in my grandfather's home, but then I don't know. They were already having visa problems, so then they just stayed here.
They were already having what problems?
They were already. Well, they were already.
Oh, visa.
It would have been like a
Oh, yeah.
headache to go all the way there and then come here because
Yeah.
my mom was pregnant, and then it would
Yeah.
just be a
Oh, that's
headache.
very risky.
Yeah.
6 months you have to leave India,
Yeah.
and you'll become the king of Nepal. So, out of curiosity, what part of India do your parents come from?
Prabhupada went to Hyderabad, right? Like, you know where that is? It's that area.
Hyderabad, yeah.
Yeah. My mom is from there.
Just say,
And
I
then
have to put you on hold.
Oh.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. My 10-year-old daughter was calling me.
Oh.
But maybe she called me by mistake.
Oh.
So, yes. So that's central India, sort of on the same
Yeah, South
parallel
Central.
as Bangalore.
Yeah, like on that parallel, but like my family, like we speak Telugu and they speak like Kannada, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that side.
But you've been to India?
Yeah, I've been to India like I mean once like as an infant, and then like last summer, I think. Yeah.
Oh, how nice! How nice.
Yeah. I didn't go anywhere. I went to like demigod temples. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although there was
Well,
like what?
there's no harm in going if you afterwards transcend.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't a devotee then. I was still eating like onions and garlic.
Yeah. But yeah. So what your parents were not specifically Vaishnavas.
Well, no. I mean, I think some of my ancestors were, but like we're
It must have been.
like how do you say, like we're Vaishya Bandhus. I mean, we'll say we're Vaishyas, but we're not. We don't practice anything. We're more lapsed.
Oh,
Yeah, because I remember Gandhiji, like he's a Vaishya Bandhu, and he used to like he didn't eat onion and garlic, but as far as I know, everybody in my like all my family members eat onions and garlic. So, but I don't think that was like always the case.
no, it
I guess
wasn't.
we've deviated, or at least my family sort of
The,
deviated.
the British had a bad effect.
Yeah.
In a sense, the British had the Mughals also had a hierarchical, monarchical system similar to the Indians. So
Oh.
they took over and dominated, but they didn't try to change the Indians all that much.
Mm.
But the British were obsessed with destroying the Vedic culture.
Mm.
Lord Macaulay said something, I have it in writing somewhere, but Lord Macaulay said that in every way the Indian culture is superior to that of British culture. Therefore, the only way to dominate them is to destroy their literature, their libraries, and their culture.
Mm.
Then we will have some opportunity to conquer them.
Mm.
So you can see
Well, where
how
my family was, there was what? Sorry.
Lord Macaulay
Oh yeah.
is Mccauley.
Mm.
You can look him up.
Yeah. Well, where my family was, there wasn't really British. I mean, there was like Secunderabad was like controlled by the British, but it was all like the Nizam, the Turushkas, militias.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think like towards the end, like after World War II, like the partition happened, and then like the the militia king, he was still in control, and he wanted to secede to Pakistan, but then the majority were like non-Muslims. So then he like sent people. He tried to like ethnically cleanse all the Hindus to a point where like the Muslims were like a majority. So then they could secede to Pakistan. They could show the United Nations that. And then during that, my great grandfather was killed, and
Huh.
my grandfather was an orphan, like, and he was orphaned, and then he was adopted.
He was
This
killed politically.
Well, yeah, they were like doing ethnic cleansing to kill all the Hindus. They were trying to
Yeah.
kill as many Hindus as they
But
could.
how did they do it that far south? Because Pakistan begins way at the top of India.
Well, I don't know. They were just like Bangladesh was like that too, but they just wanted to secede so they wouldn't have to like be under the control of the Indian government, I guess, or something like that. Because like they were getting rid of
Yeah.
all the monarch, because they were still like princely states controlled by kings, and they just wanted to still keep their
Well,
power.
yeah,
Yeah.
the kings, but under the British, the kings were reduced down to a palace, a
Mm,
Rolls Royce, and some money.
mm, yeah.
No more kingdom.
Mm,
But I don't know if you want to. If you probably know a great deal about it, but I read a book by the Maharani of Jaipur,
mm,
and she uh, described how horrible it was being betrayed by the Congress Party
mm,
and how the people the peasants of the kingdom would come to the kings and queens and princesses and beg them for what they'd had since time began,
mm,
shelter and economic support and stuff like that. And they could only stand there and say, we can't do anything anymore. Our kingdom has been reduced to this one building. It happens to be a palace, but that's just because the British have a very sardonic sense of humor.
mm,
When I was in India, they were talking about petty purses and privileges.
Mm.
Petty persons means the allowances that the monarchs got. Because the monarchs had been promised that once the democracy was established, that they would retain the being kings, but they would have a democratic coalition of kingdoms.
Mm.
But instead, they took away the kingdoms and they turned it over to Nehru and his corrupt people. They had $1 million to spend on a road. 20,000 would be spent on the road. The rest would go into different pockets.
Mm.
Very corrupt.
Mm.
I don't know if you like Narendra Modi, but I like him a lot better than the Congress Party.
I mean, he's a lot better. He's a Mayavadi.
Sort of.
Yeah.
He belongs to a sort of a special group.
Yeah.
Are they actually Mayavadis?
Well, I think in one like speech, it was like in Hindi, but he was like saying, Hinduism is such a great religion. You can, for like the wrestlers, Hanumanji is God. And then he was just saying stuff like that. It was like, Hanuman isn't God. He's a pure devotee.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
by the
So
way, is Ronald still on? I'm Ronald. Is Ramachandra Prabhu still on, or is he off?
I don't think so. I can't see him.
Yeah, he had to do something, I think, probably.
Oh.
Well, anyhow, Prabhu, it's very, very wonderful talking with you. I feel here I am, advanced age, talking to an 18 years old, and it's like we are talking like equals.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased.
Yeah.
So I better get going myself.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And we'll talk again maybe tomorrow.
Okay. See you later.
Jai. Glories to Prabhupada.
Yeah.